All right, I'm building a trading system inside of this demo account, and what I'm going to use is the standard 4 symbols that come with MetaTrader, and I'm just going to launch this thing, test out this strategy, entering on stops only, and I have a non-directional. I have 3 non-directional orders. I got a 30. I got the 1 hour, and I got the 6 hour. Now the 30, all 3 of these had the same entry point, 3 pips above, 3 pips below. It buys 15K in total if it should go up. And if it goes down, 3 pips, right? But you can only drop this, you should only drop this when the market's really quiet, maybe within a 10, 15, 20 pip range. Now every currency has its own kind of behavior there. And if you put up a 10 pip grid across all 4 currencies that came with MetaTrader, you can see the ATRs visually using a 10 pip fixed grid of price. You can see that this is the most volatile, and these guys are like, well, this is probably the least volatile, this one, and then this one's next. And from a when do you launch these orders, now the other ones I created were, they're not, these are 3 non-directionals. Then I have a 1 hour buy stop that pens, it's going to be pending, and it's going to buy the same breakout point with the same stop. This is about a 9 pip stop, even though it says 12 below, but you had to pay 3 above, so it's like 9 minus the spread, so it's about 8 pip stop. It's looking to make more pips. It's looking to make 25 pips, and this is a 5 decimal script, so it looks like 250, but it's actually just 25 pips above. But the 4 hour, I mean the 6 hour version of this is going to take more off, bigger profits. So I'm going to set this to the 6 hour one to, it's going to look to make 30 pips. It's going to look to make a different price. Actually, I'm going to make this 28, so a number that I haven't used before. And when I first started doing this, I noticed it was very difficult to find slightly different numbers. Now if you just make it on the 8s, right, you're going to get it on the 8 handles here, and that's because the 6 hour one, if this thing really lights up, maybe it's going to go really crazy. So another 8 pips on each one of these, and this way if I drop all these orders at once, at least I know I'm getting a scaled exit on the in other words, I don't have to wait for the market to move. Every time the market moves, these orders land at a different place. These are not single drop. These are dropping in time with a stop. They're bracketing the market, and if you kind of come down on the market like a boa constrictor and keep putting in buy stops and sell stops that are trend orientated, then I'm just going to make this 58 pips on the top here. So on the 2 6 hours, and it's already complicated as hell. As soon as you go into this mode where you got 7 scripts running, now I want to tune these up to, so I went 28, 38, 58. I'm going to do the same here. 28 pips, 38 pips, and 58. And when the market opens, I'm going to try to make a video of running these inside the demo. Now this is the demo that I don't even know these guys. Never heard of this broker in my life. This is the demo that fixed their spread at 50 pips all day Friday for 8 hours and couldn't trade the damn demo. But hopefully it's going to be a normal data coming in. I know there's gaps in their data too, so maybe their server's underwater or something. So this is the sell side, which is a little longer legged, but it's the ratios are going to start to be more like make 5 times your money here. Now, it's really critical to only launch if you can afford the order. This is going to so this is one side of the doji split. But this one has different orders too. Now this is just linear orders, but these should all be different on each exit. So I shouldn't have any duplication between the 6 hour and the 1 hour. So I'm going to make this 1 hour more of a scalp exit. And I'm going to get out at 16 pips, and I'm going to get out at 21, and then I'm going to get out at say 27. So this is going to be more of a scalp, but you have to have this diversification, because as the market's moving, the way I look at it, I want to be getting out. I just want to be literally coming out of it, selling into it. In other words, cashing out into a move, because a lot of these moves are totally worthless. They're fake breakouts. So this is like almost a break-even order on this 1 hour. I'm making sure, I'm going to go double check all 7 scripts to make sure they have all the same stops and all the same entries, but the take profit is where I'm going to feather it out, so that on the chart, when I look back on this thing for my exit, it's going to look something like this, where the market's going up. Now the rules would be the rules of this, and this has the direction. This is nothing but pure range and the direction. I think this might be a Hakanashi smooth one level. This is a wickless Hakanashi. I think I posted this in that Hakanashi thing. But here is the technique and the strategy and the tactics on this. And this does work, presupposing you have patience. Okay, then this is the key ingredient. And I guess if you have a little bit of, maybe you're going to have to you're going to get stopped out, right? If you're running too tight a stop, so you got to fine tune it. But with this 10 pip ATR staring at you, there's not a lot of trades here. Maybe there was a sell stop here you could have run. This is a half hour, so that's 1 hour of black. You're going to be putting in the buy stops and the dojis. And even here, as it's coming down, you can run the sell and the buy at the same time, because you're not going to get filled on any of these as the market's plummeting. Okay, so you got to visualize how you're going to when you look at the screen, you should know immediately which order to trade. Now you can't trade anything, right? Because it's just too. When it closed here in this big bar, you totally have to wait. It would have looked like this had you come into this session here. Now, maybe you're running the dojis here, the doji script. Now they filled you here and they stopped you out. But if you were running the buy trends, you would have got picked up in the stream here. And even your dojis, if you would have kept with your system, right? You have to take some punishment, right? You're not going to be able to, like even the best fighters in the world, right? They're going to get a bloody nose. And but you realize this is a quiet session to begin with. Now the trend guys, they cashed out and made 20 pips in the end finally, right? Finally. And the doji thing, right? Maybe got chopped up. But what if you were running sell strategies the whole time because you were looking for the market to fill this big void, and you're like, I know this thing's gonna tank, and you really only want to run your sells underneath these small ones, and you don't want to sell this. You really don't want to sell on black. You want to run sells on this. So when the market takes a breath, there was no breath here, but on the 15, if it took a breath, in other words, if it takes, you want to be running these counter entries, and you didn't make too much money there. but you made more money here. You were in a 10 pip range. Your Doji scripts got filled, and your you think it's going down. I put the sells up on top here. I put the Dojis in the middle, and I did that just to try to have, and I just made a favorites list, cut it down to this many orders. Now, certainly this whole time you had a based on the theory of running a counter trend entry, you had sell stops stacking up, you got filled, and of course we can't, this last bar doesn't make any sense because this is the ask right now. I mean, the spread is 62 damn pips, right? Yeah, you would have got filled here, but I think they would have stopped you out on close, right? That's the problem when the spread's too wide. You're going to get smashed, and sometimes when the news comes out, the spread goes that wide, depending on who your broker is. You know, for the Doji entries were here, and even the trend entries, quiet market entries here, you couldn't really have got involved in this because I can almost probably guarantee that when it came down here, it ripped back up. So it was too volatile to really jump on any of the trains. Of course, also presupposing you have the discipline to just stay on the half-hour chart. Now, if the market is really on fire, maybe you're going to go down to a smaller time frame. And that right now, the least volatile. Of course, if you zoom out 3 levels, it's going to be a bit much. I think you're going to have to just stay with the current order flow on the, only looking back 2 days on the half hour. That's all this system entails. This is really a scalper's system, but it's also a, you know, when the market heats up, you want to be along for the ride. And you're going to be running all 4 currency pairs when you get a signal. I guess these are the most liquid pairs, so you don't have to run all 4, right? You don't have to do anything, right? You just go out and get drunk, I suppose. But if you're going to do that, the Doji on the there's more entries on the Swiss franc because it gets quieter, right? So here would have been your entries here. You would have got filled, and you're running a trailing sell stop when you see these up bars inside of a down move. So you would have got filled here, you would have got filled here on this half-hour bar. You're under 10 pips. Even the Dojis, even the non-directional guy got in here. Non-directional Dojis got in here. You're under 10 pips here, and you got a nice, you finally made the 20, 30, 40, 50 pips that's built into the longer term one. Because the longer term one, if this is about 10 bars up, right, that's going to be 5 hours. The 6-hour script is still here. Now you can make this an 8-hour, but you could still be punching that 6-hour here, and you know it's stacking up, right? It's piling up. You're reaching a point of something's going to happen, right? We're either going to pop down here, catch the bears, and then rip it north, or we just don't care, right? We're just going to trade stupid quiet entry. I made 10 pips. Quiet entry, made 20 pips. Quiet entry, made 30 pips. Or you're running the sell. You've got the sells stacking up, and you scalp that move. Here is a 10 pip window on the half hour. Yeah, you made 10 pips, right? Yeah, you're not setting the world on fire, but if you're trading 4 currency pairs, right, you're looking for at least, you're hunting down the pattern that fits your criteria for entry. So you're dictating the criteria for entry based on volatility. So if I make these all 1 hours, that's another option. Set this to the 1 hour, zoom in. Now you're only looking back 2 days also, right? This is going to be less work, maybe less bad signals. You really see the ATR now on this British pound. So this didn't fit the criteria to have your orders stacking up here, unfortunately. Not to say you couldn't, but if you have a mechanical roll system, your buy would have been a stop above this black for this ride up. This one you missed out on because if you're going to stick to a strict trading plan, right, you always should, right, because you can duplicate what you've done and you can make a living trading, right? You're only waiting for, like, this is buy stops. If you're going to buy on black stops, you would have got filled and trapped there, right? But maybe your Doji script made money here if you drop that simultaneously, and you had your sell stop stacking up in here. So you're really back testing this thing by saying, well, what if, right? And you don't need to run, I'm sorry, the idea that you're going to, I had a big fight with some guy last year about this. Can you replicate that? Yeah, sure, I can replicate it. I mean, can you come to the platform and hit this damn button? Sure. Can you withstand psychologically the risk? That's a whole nother story, right? And of course, I wrote these pretty big. These are 15Ks stacked into here. These are actually, if everything fills, this is going to fill 30K here. So this is going to fill 30K. Now, if you keep dropping this thing, you can totally blow the account up just by getting frustrated. The market's not moving. What the hell is going? I mean, when you see people come into a chat room, you're looking at every personality of everybody that trades. Now, maybe this isn't your personality, and it typically wasn't mine, but I guess I'm going to prove a point that anybody can walk in anybody else's shoes, and they can trade another person's. In other words, I had this friend of mine loaned me his car one day, and we got in and immediately had to adjust the seat in the rearview mirror, right? I thought, you got to be kidding me, right? What is this guy thinking? Now, this is a whole problem with anybody showing anybody else how to trade. You're already on the losing side because you're like, well, I would never do it like that. Are you out of your mind? Now, the trading at the market for some people, this is really I guess the need to be right is coming into your world. The need to be right and wrong. Now, I can totally see a trend line. I can put a trend line in here. This is wonderful for the trend line on wick people, right? Because I think this is the high and close of the market. I hope so. I hope this isn't a ghost, because the Heikin-Ashi, this is it. This is the high and low of each bar. And you can do these trend lines, right? So this support became resistance right on the edge of that wick. And the reason why I do it on close is because how could you nail that trade, right? Your limit, it's pretty snug. But this whole phase of consolidation here, I'm going to zoom out one level. You can see all the entries here, right? Here's your Doji entry, right? Big blast up. Now that's more than I wrote into these profits. But on the trend trade, imagine this breakout here. You didn't get stopped out. This is the British pound. But you kind of know which trade you would take. Here's another Doji, and this is the Sunday note Doji. This is good for 20. This is coming into Sunday night. You can see Sunday night on this broker, which is kind of neat. You can see this perfect, almost perfect 10 pip range. Now the Doji scripts would have only filled on the south side. Once you went 3 pips below, you could set it to 1 pip. I might actually go back and set these to 1 pip or 2 pips, because it doesn't take much to trip that. And you're getting in late. Let's face it, stop entry is not the best. You could be short from here though, right, as it came up here, but this doesn't qualify as being a narrow. But on the trend trades, you don't necessarily need narrow. On the trend trades, you're stacking up all your sell stops, are just piling up and up and up. And when this thing comes smashing back, if it doesn't do a retrace, and we can't see what happened time-wise here if we would have got chopped. All we know is range, pips, and if we have sell stacking up, we are in a downtrend, right? We have sell stacking up, we get auto-filled. Here's the Doji got filled. Not the best trade in the world, right? And then if you still had lingering orders, they ripped it back through the top here. So, but you got 4 currencies to pick from. it's not like you can't find a trade out there. And if I go to the landscape view, zoom out on the 1 hour, and let's just scan for what would have been your entries using just nothing but this dumb entry system. And trading can be this stupid. It doesn't have to, you don't need Fibonacci, this is pure mechanical trading. Sure, you could draw a trend line on here. I'd have to say the dollar yen is in no trend. It's not a trending market. Sure, here it was trending, right? Here you were a genius. You got this kickback. Now for the limit entry guys, they probably had a buy limit here. But this is strictly a stop entry strategy, and it's possible to make a living doing that because you don't have to be the guy that jumps in front of the market to be the hero with the big buy limit at previous zone. You can just be a guy that says, oh, you know what, let's go anywhere on this chart. What would you have done? Like, how would you have played these entries? This one, I don't know if they ripped it back down after they stopped out here. You can't see, but if you had a buy stop here and a buy stop on these blacks, you have a trailing sell. You made like 20 pips on this this when it backed up here. Maybe you're in an uptrend. So we can just do blockhead analysis. Here's your uptrend. You're going to buy along this supply line. Okay, let's do a precise, because we only know this, right? Well, we only know these touches, so we'll just copy that over, hold down the control key. So we're going to buy along, we're in an uptrend. We're just going to do the crudest thing. It's going up, right? It's making higher highs. So I'm only going to buy in these blacks with the trend script. The 1 hour and the 6 hour. And if it gets quiet and we get the luxury of having this wonderful little, I guess it's like a bonus entry, the 1 hour under 10 pips here, this fractal, you got a buy stop here, you got buy stop stacking up here. Your sell stop wasn't triggered because you ran at least a 3 pip entry. You had buy stop stacking up on the blacks. Now you're really loaded. You've taken at least 15 pips off the table here, or 15 if you got filled on that stop. And if you got filled on these, and I don't run any trailing stops or nothing like that. I guess if I'm really up on this trade, if I'm up all these pips off of here, I'm up 20 pips. Hopefully it's built into the script to take that stuff off the table. If I have a lingering order, that's okay, because my original stop, if you're not running a trailing stop, your original stop is still lingering here from this fill on this breakout. You never got stopped out, and those become the bonus miles, right? You may hit that 60 target. And if you're doing all foreign currencies, I used to trade 8 currencies at once simultaneously, but I think I really overtraded. It's just too excited about trading in general. It's just too much fun. Really, it's the most exciting sport in the world. And as the market's marching up this trend line, if everybody's looking for a break of this trend line, like we can draw this one, draw multiple trend lines on wicks, as we're starting to get up into this nosebleed section, and we're just going to passively enter the market here. Let's take a look at what that would entail. Buy the black, sell the I'm colorblind, I can't tell what this other color is, but as it's crawling up this wall of worry here, you got buy stops here that get filled. This is not a great qualifier for the Doji script. Here's the Doji script kind of stop out. Here's a Doji script winner. Here's a Doji winner. Doji winner. Here is you're putting in buy stops winner. That's your trend winner. So this whole time you're just chunking away. You know, you're really a trend trader when you are on stop entry. You're just going with order flow. If you have your trailing sell stops, you would have gotten stopped out that's why I'm using the Doji as my pivot order, because up here, had you run the sell script trend, you would have got trapped here, and then they stopped you out. And you would have got trapped here, they stopped you out. But here it paid off, because as this is marching up and you're ratcheting up on this thing, kind of going like the roller coaster ratchet, and that's what these stops are. They're ratcheting. If you're stacking up your sell stops here, then you get a potential Doji entry. Of course, I'm on the 1 hour now, so there's less trades, and it's really going to be a matter of taste. You know, here's the ultimate entry here. Here's the Doji entry, because you had a small 1 hour bar. You also had the, you're in a downtrend, you're running your sell trends here. And it's okay, this is your first breath of air here too, sell stops, right? This is what the guy who's long has, right? You're going with his protection, but you're letting it really expand into a large take profit zone of 58 pips on the upside and 58 pips on the 6 hour downside. So I'm going to publish all these in that script thing. You copy and paste these in your platform. Anybody wants me to send them the zip folder of this whole damn platform, I could take this whole demo account and scrunch it down into a zip file, but I can't send it to you on Google, because Google really won't let you, Gmail will not let you send a zip folder, because they think you're sending like a you know, a nuclear device or something, or the code to the you know, the Cray computer. So they won't let you send it. I have to send it through Yahoo, which is a little more apparently skankier. They don't mind a few viruses. And of course, we're living with all these parasites at our heels all the time. And I made, so this should work. I'm gonna try to really stick to a strategy. Guy asked me if I had a strategy, and I guess this is a strategy. There is no market orders in here, no limits. Now the limit stuff, that's more of a more complicated world, I think. It entails you kind of putting a lot of, you have to also put a scalp inside of that limit. Say you were getting in on these pullbacks, and just gonna go back to the chart here. Now if it was a limit world, you could still hand place limits. I haven't put them on this platform, and I won't be trading those on this demo. I'm just gonna try to keep it to these scripts only. And you can drag and drop these. As soon as you drag and drop these on the chart, they're just gonna land. Doesn't matter where you drag and drop these puppies. If you're inside of your inside of here and you launch them, if you double click this thing, it's going right on the chart. So you can either delete all of the scripts and just keep it down to the greatest hits in here, and this is going to auto arrange it based on the name. These are the single drops that I posted, but this is a whole different style of trading. You know, this is hard written for a single drop, and it matters where you drop it on the chart. I think the best of both worlds is to trade stop entry, volatility breakout, but also be aware of the fact that when they take a currency to the very edge, plus another thing is that you can place these well in advance, where you can't really this style here, stop entry, you really need to be coming to your damn computer, because you are really going with what's happening right now. It's not to say we can't all put a sell limit for a scalp up here in the treetops. Painfully obvious, right? And another thing you could do, since we don't have any close on this chart right now, if you think about the crotch of this thing, right, where the void is between these, this is another order entry strategy for a limit order, is to bring them, consider this whole window between where the market, where the bodies of all these candles stack up and the very tippy top, that this window here is just under 10 pips. And all your scalps can be, you could place a lot of orders for scalps and for a complete rip back of the market up in here. So this is your supply window or sell window. And down here is where you know they're going to stop hunt this guy, so you got a scalp in here for 20 pips, right? And you're doing single drops at precision points, but let's not forget that if you miss this entry down here and it's never coming back, you're forced to either buy at the market here or you put a stop in above and just go with the flow. And you know, here's a couple doji entries. Now this is dollar yen. You're not going to make, you may not, this market doesn't move that much. Of course, on the 1 hour, and this is the whole another problem, a lot of problems. I mean, like here's an entry. Here's probably the only entry on here in this currency pair where it qualifies. Say you have buy stop stacking up on the blacks, and you got your doji. You launched 2 dojis here, and you made like 20 pips, right? Not the biggest trade in the world, but you know, they're stacking up. Boom, right? It's all right. Here, you know, you can't really launch the doji here because you're in 20 pip range territory. But yeah, maybe here you get filled. Here you're getting chopped up. And then I guess if you really wanted to be a little bit, don't trade so much. Maybe you think this is over trading. I say go to the 4-hour chart. So if you went to the 4-hour chart, you're not going to get a lot of trades. The market rarely pauses for 10 pips in 4 hours. It does happen, and I'm sure that would be you might want to go for a 20 pip breakout, but at that point you kind of destroy the whole. I mean, 20 pips is quite a bit of volatility, and I guess you could probably find the yen on the 4-hour to have a qualifier. Like here's a breakout. But this is still 20 pips. Maybe you could run your. You definitely have to amplify the grid on this. Can't say there's a lot of great. You know, you're going to have to go to 20 pips on a 4-hour chart, obviously, to capture this stuff here. If you think about what you would have done here, you know, you could have, would have, should have. It would have been kind of dicey. Not you know, these are, you're risking this whole thing. You're risking like 20, 30 pips here. And sure, this is a genius move. And if you waited for that, right, you got a 30 pip. That's 30 pips. So the break even is to here. Not the best world. Looks great in hindsight, I think, but you know, I don't know. A lot of risks there, and a lot of time. You know, it take a long time. So unless you're a patient person, you're gonna stick with the 1 hours. 1 hour's the max for me on this fractal entry system. And you just have to show up to the platform every hour and just judge who's got a buyer's sell available, and that's it. Let's post these 7 scripts inside of the MT4 script trading Google Plus, and that's yeah, it's just diverse. I have a hard stop entries, but diversified take profits that stream out. And in the end, in a perfect world, it looks like this. You know, in a perfect world, as you're stacking up all these buy stops, and here's your doji entry. You have a hard stop here, and it's if you have all these scripts running, they should make 58 pips scaled out. So as it's going up, I suppose you could add, but I wouldn't. I'd actually be running the protection of the opposite of that, right? So I would run the as it's going up, I have my stop and reverse orders here running. just in case it backs up here, which it cleaned up there, right? And here was so here's your sells, Doji. You made a few pips. Here it's kind of untradeable from a Doji standpoint, and even kind of a trend standpoint, because you're just risking so much, right? You're really waiting for the market to calm down. This would have been great for limit entry. It had you bought on, say, you're looking for a stop hunt of this zone, you're looking for this to be the supply zone, you're getting in on limits here, right? So always think limit and stop, and when is the appropriate time to use each style. And as far as the market, I would really try to stay away from trading at the market, because the limit orders kind of are risky enough as it is. And if you're going to get in on, say, this is the top and you think maybe retest here, I don't know. It's just trading at the market. I guess on the like I said, 1 minute, 5 minute chart, if you're going to sit there and get the rhythm method going, right, you're going to play it like you're playing with the band. I guess so, right? Anyways, that's my my thinking as far as quiet market as opposed to crazy loud. Crazy loud here, maybe you got the sell limits up there, but to sell at the market as it's going up seems kind of risky, or even buy. In other words, it's just like these giant candles are so brutal. You literally have to sit back and wait. Maybe they are going to fill your, maybe you got some sell limits up here or something. So yeah, waiting for the market to open here. Okay, here's the demo account here, and quite some time's gone by. This is about, let's see, I started here about 8 hours ago, so I've really let this thing kind of go. So I went from 96.88 to 97, and I haven't touched haven't taken any profits. I let this euro dollar play out, and everything I was in cashed out. The British pound went up. It didn't cash out all the tickets, so it's still long on this. I just placed a new buy limit, a new buy stop on the top of this. Let me zoom in here. Okay, now we're getting filled on something here. Okay, getting stopped out of the long, and I'm making money on the Swiss franc because they're selling the Swiss franc. So I did go short the Swiss franc here on let me just bring this into cue this up. Okay, so that was how it went. I bought the Doji breakout here. I actually had buys on this, but I also had the Doji on this one. And this should naturally go down. This is the dollar, right? And this is the euro thing. Now the British pound's tanking, but I just put a buy stop above that, and I have to wait. Some kind of news is coming out. Hey, one of my brokers just go nuts here. I mean, seriously, look at this 1 minute chart here. Right? This 20 pip range. Anyways, I'm long the euro. Something's up. Here was my channel on the 4-hour euro. This was my scalp zone of the. Now we're looking for the scalp zone on the Fibonacci. I'm going to move the Fibonacci tool up to the high. I'll put 100% on the right here where the stop hunt went on here. We pulled back. This is my next crop of sells. I had to take everything off the table as the market was going nuts, and so I wasn't sure if they're going to spike me out of this thing. Okay, the euro's going through the roof. And on this demo, which this is, anybody that wants to trade this stop entry thing, like I said, I got the whole Yeah, these 7 tickets running. The only rule is, like here right now, I could put a buy stop in. Just about to take profits, I think, on this. Let's see, on this yen. I think that's a take profit. It's short. I guess not. About to get stopped out. Oh, here it is. So about to take profits on that yen. Now I can't see any further back, but I'm just going to put one buy stop in there, trailing on top of that. That makes. So there really should be a scalp built into that. Yeah, this is too a little too greedy there, maybe. We should make that 220. Now this is some of the issues you run into is that on the sell side, I would do the same thing for the 1 hour sell. Take 22 pips on that first blast. Unless I'm going to run that the Doji is more of a scalp. It's going to make 16 pips on that first. So I could also do the Doji right now on the euro. On the yen, just because it's in a narrow range. Right, it could go either way. I'm just about to get filled on that sell, but it could go the other way. So I'm gonna put it in a Doji 1 hour. So if it keeps tanking, I'd make money. So I went from 96.88 to 97, and I'm only using $80 of margin. Now earlier I was using 2,200, maybe 2,700 at max at the time. Okay, I'm about ready to get out of these winning trades. So I'm going to take profits again here. Now this was the trajectories I built on this. I'm just going to scalp out that. Okay. Alright, that's where I'm at with that.